And then Tua Tagovailoa fumbled the snap on 4th and 10. The Chiefs defense stunts them again. We get the win. And hey, what are you doing?
Back for the game, man. I'm going to Pittsburgh.
Wait, your flight doesn't leave in like 2 days.
I don't like waiting for the last minute, unlike my Steelers offense.
Oh my God, we did it!
My dick is big, my dick is wide, my dick is huge.
That's right. Super Bowl, here we come.
So you're saying there's a chance?
We're ready to tear this baby up.
Why? Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this Week 9 review of the Trajan Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by my good friend, the terrible towel packing. Oh, no, now he's twirling it. Trajan. How are you doing this week? You got a fun little flight ahead of you this week, don't you?
Oh, yes. We get to face the vaunted Green Bay Packers this week. I'm so excited.
So vaunted. Just
So
strikes terror in the hearts of mortal men through the Green Bay Packers, led by Jordan Love.
I'm really worried about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely. It's okay. It's not Super Bowl 45. He can't hurt you anymore.
I'm not recovered yet.
No, it's still not. God dang! It's been 10 years. It's been over 10 years. My goodness, it's hard to believe how long it's been.
I'll make you mention Brady.
Yeah, on that note, you at least had a something positive to talk about this week. At least you had a win to be happy about this week, even if it did kind of stress you out, from what I understand.
Well, I mean, it's Steelers football, so yes, it's going to naturally stress me out. Can't just win in a dominant fashion anymore. No, we got to stay and come from behind in the fourth quarter.
Especially to a guy that puts mayo in his coffee, right?
Yeah, and eats a banana with the peel on it.
oh, I didn't even hear that. Ah, that's what it
Yes,
was. Okay, I heard someone did that. I didn't know that was him too, and now I can't say I'm surprised, but oh boy.
No.
Does he also sneeze with his eyes open? Does he sneeze with his eyes open? Does he write letters with his feet? I mean, what else is this guy capable of doing? My goodness. So oh well. Well, as we kind of alluded to here too, yes, it was a win for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh taking down the Tennessee Titans by a final score of 20-16.
Yes, it was a great day in the Berg. I went home, turned on the TV, instantly see my Steelers go down the field and score a touchdown. All right, I'll take this. Then, the second quarter came and they went up. Halftime, we're down 13-10. All right, we're hanging with them. I don't like it, but we'll take it. Then third quarter, 16-13. And, of course, we got the touchdown. Started the clock, I think, like 9 minutes, and the drive just took forever. And we got a touchdown out of it. So my hat off to Deontay Johnson in his touchdown for 668 days first touchdown. So the last person to throw him a touchdown was Big Ben.
Oh my God. Oh my.
That hurts. That hurts.
Blast from the past, if there was any.
It's not like he did nothing during that time. He got tons of yards. He was a leading receiver. He just didn't get in the end zone. But the biggest point, 160 yards through the air, only 25 less than Mahomes, but he's MVP, whatever. was our running game. 166 yards on the ground. Jalen Warren, bring that big dick energy. Batting down some yards there. 88 yards. 22 was his long. Najee, 69. Nice.
Nice.
Calvin Austin with a jet sweep that's successful. Oh my goodness.
We've been waiting for it all season. We were waiting for it all season. It finally happened.
10 yards total, 8 yards on that one. So, I mean, pretty awesome on that. TJ got a sack without a helmet. Let's see Chris Jones do that.
Oh, come on now.
Let's see him get even half the sack total TJ gets.
Oh boy, I'll have some words about Chris Jones here in a little bit. Don't you worry.
Okay. Biggest thing though out of this game is Kenny play clean. He didn't throw any interceptions. I will say Will Levis, he kind of scared me. I mean, he was balling. 262 yards, 22 out of 39 attempts. I mean, it just kept on looking like he converted every third down. That last drive, though, I mean, there was 3 opportunities for an interception.
Oh, boy.
And we finally came down with it, but it looked like he was going to drive down on us and win the game. But our defense held strong. There was a bullshit call that should have been the end of the game, but, you know, it's whatever. It's whatever. Joey Porter is playing lights out. So I think we are in a good spot. I mean, obviously we want our offense to be better. I've been saying this all year, but you know, it's a good time to be. It's a decent time to be a Steelers fan. I'm 5-3, 3-2 at home. So I mean, man, who would have thunk it?
It got a tough opponent upcoming too, don't you?
Tough opponent.
So
I mean,
oh, good.
I was gonna say way stronger opponent than you got in 2 weeks.
Fair enough. No. Well, one thing you left out too. Obviously, you mentioned Deontay Johnson. Rather, God, imagine Devontae Adams being on that team. Deontay Johnson, good performance with the touchdown, 90 yards too. George Pickens was the worst statistical receiver for the Steelers, and the funny thing is, with one little catch and one little toe tap, he would have been probably the second best.
Yes, I was hoping to leave this out. Okay, so for what the viewers don't know, George Pickens had a very bad night. He had an opportunity to score a touchdown. He had tons of end zone there. I mean, tons for a wide receiver in the NFL. Doesn't bring down the second foot. I don't know how he did not do it. I thought for sure it was such a big opening that I was like, oh, this is a touchdown.
He was still in the college mindset.
Yeah, he would have been good then. So that gets called back. We ended up having to settle for a field goal. That was our third quarter spot. I mean, we could have won by a lot more if we did receptions like those. So at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, Deontay Johnson gets his touchdown. Instead of going celebrating with the team, he jogs off the field. He looks frustrated on the sideline. I get it. You didn't get your ball. You're not getting the yards that you thought you'd have, but your team's winning. Have a good time afterwards. But, you know, you had your opportunities in this game. I know Pickett, he did miss a few shots to him and some other receivers. I think that was more short week coming off of bruised ribs and kind of selling him there. He said he had a little issues with torque in his throw. I could see that. I mean, I'm not going to fault Kenny Pickett on it. I mean, he got you a chance in the end zone, man. What do you want? Well, anyways, after the game, he went and unfollowed all the Pittsburgh stuff and took off the Steelers and did a caption free me. I don't know. Supposedly it's a non-story. Supposedly it's a non-story.
It's a pebble in the coach's shoe is what I last read.
Oh.
Which kind of funny how that started out with Le'Veon Bell too, but no, I'm kidding. I don't wish that upon. I don't wish that upon you, organization, because you have dealt with that a lot over the last 5 or 6 years. Enough. You don't need another one. Although I will say, if Pickens is looking to be freed somewhere, I mean, we do have a good habit of taking former Steelers players to the Super Bowl. So yeah, you're more than welcome to come on by, George. Just to say hi. You know, don't need to take things too quickly. I mean, just come on, check the place out. You know, sometime. You know, never know. So no, 5-3. You know, halfway through the season. You know, obviously the AFC North. It's tough right now, and Baltimore, especially after that win against Seattle, is looking pretty scary right now. I have to admit. So, I mean, obviously, a lot can happen. It's only halfway through the season, so time will tell where we go from here, and time will tell where the Steelers and the rest of the AFC North land by the end of the season. But
exactly.
We go from one side of the world to the other. We're going to Germany. Wunderbar. Let's go over to Frankfurt and let's hear it, Kingdom, all over the world. How about those Chiefs? Big time win over a big time opponent. The number one scoring offense in the NFL. This Chiefs defense put the hammer down and held them to a mere 14 points. Oh, that tastes so good. Yes, it was a game that I was going into it very nervous because we all heard it. It was played ad nauseum throughout the media, on NFL Network, on the Fox Sports, on CBS, everywhere. Tyreek Hill. He's going to put 4 touchdowns on us. He's going to go off for 250 yards. And he's going to run by Andy Reid when he scores and says, "You shouldn't have traded me." Holy jumping Jehoshaphat, where do I start? First of all, Andy Reid doesn't control the trades, pal. So the fact that you're starting with that is ridiculous. Second of all, you also wanted to do a special touchdown celebration. Yeah, how did that work out for you? As Trajan's kind of frozen in time here. There he is. Now he's back. All right. Want to make sure I didn't lose you there. All right. Yeah, your special touchdown celebration was Brian Cook going into the end zone high step, and that was a very special touchdown celebration. So Tyreek, how did the 200 of nope, that can't be right. Hold on a second. I'm showing a few yards short here. I'm showing a few yards short here. Am I cutting out on your end?
Yeah.
Well, you're kind of cutting out on my end too, but at least hopefully I can hear it out too. We'll talk it over in post if I have to here. So we're a little short here on the receiving yards here too. Matter of fact, the whole team is a little short too. 193 receiving yards for the whole team. Tyreek accounting for, although I'll give Tyreek credit, he was the leading receiver. He was also targeted more than everyone else. 8 receptions, but a little short on the 250 with only 62 yards. The secondary for Kansas City, they came prepared, and even Tyreek Hill, after the game, I forget if he was talking to Snead or McDuffie or one of the two, but he said, "You guys had a heck of a game plan for me." So at least he was giving credit where credit was due. I tip my cap to you for that, Tyreek. But man, was he talking so much smack, even during the offseason. So that just feels that much better. It's just so satisfying to throw it back into their faces. Because, let's be honest, the entire league was buying into what he was saying. Especially after last week. When the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, when that streak was over, everybody was saying that the offense was going to expose the defense. I mean, you said so yourself, Trajan. You know, who has the defense played? You said that, and you admit it. I appreciate that. But that defense can we talk about that defense? Now, is this the right time to talk about the defense? Or do we have to wait for next week against Philadelphia? I don't know. We'll see.
I have to wait for Philadelphia.
Let's see. So, if we go over to the Chiefs defense and what they pulled off here. Huge shout out to Trent McDuffie, who is easily one of the top corners in the league, and he doesn't even have an interception in his career. You know what he does, though? He forces turnovers. And he don't got to pick it off. He just gets in there, and he rips the ball out from your hands. And I got to admit, when Mike Edwards picked up the ball, and he was in the process of being tackled, I thought to myself, do not pitch the ball. Because I was waiting for something stupid to happen. It's just like, and Trajan can attest to this, what did I say during the Super Bowl when Kadarius Toney fielded that punt before he ran it back?
Oh, you said fair catch it.
I said fair catch it. Just go down. Just go down. I don't want muff punts. I've seen too many of them already. And what does he do? He takes it almost to the house, down to the 5-yard line, which leads to the touchdown that took the lead. And oh man! And then this one, Mike Edwards pitches it back to Brian Cook and gets a block. As soon as he pitches it, he turns around and he's blocking someone. I mean, that was insane. And Brian Cook screaming down the sideline, high-stepping all the way, touchdown Kansas City, and Tyreek Hill once again responsible for a Chiefs game-winning touchdown. Some things never change. So, but that was before halftime. And I know I'm kind of glossing over it. Shout out to Rashee Rice and Jerick McKinnon to the touchdown receptions they did to get off to a 14-0 lead. The defense shutting out Miami the whole first half. But then the second half happens. And, you know, I wasn't so foolish to think that the Chiefs were going to keep the Dolphins off the board the whole game. I was not that delusional for that. First one to Wilson Jr. Okay, yep, that was kind of on the secondary for allowing that to happen. But then the Dolphins get the ball back, and they're driving down the field. But it's a third down. It's a 3rd and 26. And we hold them. And we hold them. We're going to get off the field. Chris Jones, what are you doing? Stop! So.
That's all the money, though.
So if anyone thought that I was crazy when I said I really don't care if we extend Chris Jones long term, this is the reason why. Because this has happened on multiple occasions.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but his emotions just cannot stay in check for a full 60 minutes. That's what we saw last year against the Colts. A very winnable game. And that cost them there. And it cost them nearly here. Because he pushes an offensive lineman, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, automatic first down, and then what happens? Handoff to Raheem Mostert, touchdown the very next play. We had them outside of field goal range on that. And, so, you know, when Chris Jones does good, I'm very happy with that. It's always cool to see that. But when it's stuff like that, it makes me not really care if he does not return to Kansas City next year. So that's my
comment.
That's my 2 cents on that. So
all right,
that's my 2 cents on that. If he can prove through the rest of the season that he can be a game-changing defensive tackle, which I know he can. He's kind of slipped a little bit these last few games. I know he can be that, and he can keep his emotions in check. Then I would welcome him back with open arms. But that's something to be discussed at the end of the season. We're still halfway through the season, but if we keep seeing something like that happen in more games where there's a lot on the line, and trust me, there was something to play for in this game, then I wouldn't be upset if he was gone. So that's my 2 cents on that. But the fourth quarter, even though the Dolphins were starting to mount a comeback, the Chiefs defense held strong again. The Dolphins had an opportunity towards the end for another game-winning drive, and the defense held strong, and it was hilarious how it ended because kudos to Steve Spagnuolo for loading up the box. He was going to send the house. Everyone was going to attack Tua Tagovailoa, and I don't know if the center was intimidated by that or if Tua just wasn't paying attention and the snap got wrong, but he botched the snap. It goes 10 yards behind him. He falls on it. Chiefs defense covers him up, and that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote, baby. A huge win overseas, which makes the Chiefs the first team in NFL history to win in 4 different countries. So, great win. We needed that going into the bye week, and now we look forward to a very worthy opponent in the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that has the best record in the NFL right now. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to being there at Arrowhead and seeing that game in person. I'm super excited.
Well, I'm excited for you. And I'm hoping you've tasted that defeat, but, that's petty of me.
It'll be extremely petty of you, especially if the Packers somehow find a way to take down the Steelers while you're there to see that.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that would suck. But
if it's any solace, I know how it feels to see an NFC North team beat my team at my home stadium. So someone I can commiserate with.
Yes, you have, and I will give you props this week, though. I did say, let's see, when you play a high-powered offense, what your defense does, and they did do well. I just don't know what it is about the Dolphins not playing up to their opponents.
Me neither, but I ain't gonna argue it.
It's just so bad to see. So their average points scored is 17 points versus a winning team.
Is it really?
Yeah. 17 points against it. And that was during the game. So even lower now.
Right.
So it's I don't know what to say on that one. I mean, it's a weird world. They beat the Broncos, but you lost to the Broncos, but you beat the Miami Dolphins. So
nothing makes sense this year. Nothing is making sense. I mean, good God, looking at some of these other games here too. The Seahawks, who we thought we were decent, got absolutely trounced by the Ravens 37-3. I mean, Josh Dobbs came into a game, didn't even know the names of half of his teammates, and they beat the Falcons. I mean, yes, it was the Falcons, but still, you got to give him some credit coming in halfway through the week and leading your team to victory.
And he was having the coach explain to him plays. He hadn't studied anything.
No, he had barely any time with the playbook.
Up into the game in his microphone. I mean, that is just insane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, kudos to him. The Vikings, they still have a winning record, and they're still very much alive in the wild card race for the NFC North. Although it seems like the Lions are looking like the team to beat in the North.
Yeah, nope. They're definitely looking good this year. The Browns. Browns are looking good, and I hate to say it. But, I mean, I guess it is versus the Cardinals. But 27-0. Same Cardinals that beat the Cowboys.
I was going to say, Cardinals are feisty this year. The record doesn't show it, but they definitely don't lay over and die as much as we thought they would.
But the Cardinals no longer have Josh Dobbs, who started all those other games.
That's what it was.
I don't know.
That's what it was.
No. But, I mean, you can't control who you play. You can control how you play versus them. And 27-0, that's pretty darn good.
Well, speaking of control, there was someone who was out of control, and that was C.J. Stroud. Holy smokes, what a game that was. They switched over to that game. Which one was it? Oh, yeah, it was the Seahawks and the Ravens was the televised game, but they switched over to the Texans and Buccaneers, so I got to see the last few minutes of that one, and Baker Mayfield driving down the field, getting a touchdown. You think it's over? Nope. CJ Stroud driving down the field, Tank Dell touchdown with no time left on the clock, or barely any time left on the clock. Things are looking, a little brighter right now for Houston fans.
470 yards throwing, 5 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
You want to hear something even sadder? CJ Stroud now has more touchdowns, career touchdowns, than Kenny Pickett.
No way.
A rookie.
There's no way.
More than a second-year veteran. Well, 2-year or sophomore.
Oh my gosh.
But could he do that with Matt Canada?
Good point. Hey. Very, very good point. Good point. Well, speaking of without someone, the Raiders did something special without someone. Even though, good God, it seems like everyone except Saquon Barkley is hurt for the Giants now. Raiders take down the Giants by a score of 30-6.
Yep.
It's hard to say, are the Raiders back? But they're making positive steps. The biggest positive was getting rid of McDaniel. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The other Sunday afternoon game was, I about said Sunday night, but we'll get to that one. But the other Sunday afternoon game, the Eagles-Cowboys, that one was a pretty fun one to watch too.
Oh yeah. Dak just couldn't get it in at the end.
I don't know how a team that has 1st and 5 on the opponent's 6-yard line ends up 3rd and 26. Yeah,
it starts to make sense when you mention the word Cowboys.
That's fair. I won't say the Cowboys were ultimately the better team against the Eagles. They seemed like they were, pretty well matched, but it just came down to the Cowboys once again shooting themselves in the foot. Dumb penalties, dumb play calls, but kudos to the Eagles. They got the job done on their home turf. So it'll be interesting, especially since they'll be coming off their bye week too, when they come to Kansas City and we have the Super Bowl rematch. And then this actually was a little more predictable than I think most people will admit. Cincinnati taking down the Bills. It just seemed like the Bills just could not find a rhythm at all. Even though it ended up being a one-score game, it just seemed like the Bengals are just they found their groove and they're firing on all cylinders now.
Yep, Bengals. I mean, AFC North. If the playoffs started today, all 4 teams are in the playoffs.
Crazy, right?
But the one that I said I thought was going to win, and you're like, I don't know, the Jets might beat them. LA Chargers. They're holding on.
Zach Wilson went back to Zach Wilson, unfortunately.
Yes, he did. He was the passing leader in this.
Crazy, right?
They had the passing leader, the rushing leader, and the receiving leader, and they still lost.
It was definitely a team win for the Chargers, which has definitely got to help get their spirits back up too.
Keenan Allen now has 10,000 yards receiving. Career receiving.
That's right. Yeah, he's the all-time leading wide receiver now for the Chargers, but he's still behind Antonio Gates. How crazy is that?
Kelsey has now the highest too.
That's right. Yep, he passed Tony Gonzalez.
That's it.
And I saw the love that they were giving to each other on Twitter. That was pretty nice to see, especially after Travis Kelce accepting his Sexiest Man Alive award from.
That's because of Taylor Swift.
She's got friends in high places for that award, doesn't she?
It definitely glows him up.
Well, we'll definitely see if the Chargers can keep the momentum up against the red-hot Detroit Lions. That'll actually be a fun game. Hopefully that's one I'll be able to watch. But yes, next week, the noon game. The Packers coming to Pittsburgh. You'll be there to see that live. I wish you safe travels there too, and I hope you bring plenty of towels for plenty of tears. So,
yes.
But I'll have tears alongside of you next week because I am going to fulfill my end of the bargain. Next week, it is the bye week for Kansas City, so you will hear me list out the top 5 most devastating losses for me as a Chiefs fan Post 2000, just like we did with the Steelers too. So I've got some thinking, I've got some reminiscing, and I've got some soul searching to do to come down with a definitive top 5 for my list there too. But
I just want to hear one.
You just want to hear one. I know the one you want to hear, and honestly, it may not even make the list. We'll see. There's been a lot. There's been a lot. Yeah. So. All right, but that is our show this week. Trajan, any closing thoughts before you board the plane and head to Yinzerland?
Taylor's going to Super Bowl.
Taylor's going to Super Bowl. There it is, folks. You heard it here first. Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all of your friends, and we'll see you next week for the Week 10 recap. Take care, everyone.